You're this perp back with another video, and I just got out of watching The Black Phone in theaters. This was one of my highly anticipated movies of the year. You have Ethan Hawke here as the grabber. This is directed by Scott Derrickson. If you don't know who that is, I think he directed the first Doctor Strange, right? He was supposed to direct Doctor Strange too, but anyways, we're not here to talk about the MCU. We're here to talk about the Black Phone. Now, I don't know the kid actors in this movie, but man, it's not very often that you get really cool, like just really dope, like kid actors. But these kid actors, the actors that played Finn and Gwen, amazing, really dope. I like the setting of this and just the whole premise. It's very simple. It's very, realistic. And that's what really makes this film terrifying, because here you have this like suburban kind of town, a little small town, and kids are getting literally yanked up one by one. And that happens in real life. That still happens. You still see kids, getting snatched up. And this is sort of like some type of like redemption, but also kind of like a heroic type of story, because you have the main character Finn, where he is constantly getting like picked on at school, but also has to deal with being abused by his father, and his sister Gwen is like the only one that's really by his side. And shout outs to Gwen, because if you've seen this movie, Gwen she's a rider, bro. Don't mess with her brother. She'll definitely, anyways. So I like the build up to this. It's very suspenseful. I would say this is more thriller than horror, because there wasn't nothing really scary. I would say don't go into this thinking like you're gonna be terrified. I think that's a little misleading. I think there's definitely times where they build the suspense really well, because it's one of those like isolated type of horror movies where it's a character needs to find out how he can escape. And this is where things get interesting, though. If you've watched the trailer, I think the trailer gave away too much, in my opinion, but I also understand the twist, because there is a supernatural twist to this movie and what ends up leading to the downfall of the grabber. And I kind of like that. I wish they kind of, I don't know. I think they could have done a little bit more with that, or could have been a little bit more clear, in my opinion. Maybe I have to watch it again, because I just felt like something was just missing a little bit, because Gwen, his little sister, also is a big part of this movie and is another kind of piece to the puzzle to kind of figure out how is Finn going to get out of the situation. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, this is a scenario that could happen to any kid. You could just be, and this is at the time where kids would just be walking around, you know what I'm saying? Just no adult supervision, so it made it really easy for them to just get snatched up. And yeah, man, I like Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke as a villain or an antagonist is really dope, man. I think he had a really fun time playing this role of the grabber. He's very menacing, very sinister. I just, man, I wanted it a little bit more. I just wanted a little bit more. But he is pretty effective for the most part. The whole twist to this movie and just how everything kind of gets figured out, I could see people kind of looking at it in a different way, or kind of just being disappointed, or just being like, but there are some really interesting twists as far as just how all the pieces come together. Like I said, it's like one big puzzle piece. You're just trying to figure out, okay, this guy is not that dumb, but because of who he snatched up and just the whole thing with Gwen and just Finn, and there's something there's some type of connection between those two, and just they kind of allude to their mom kind of having this same type of like ability, or just has these types of visions. That's all I'm going to say without spoiling it. But this was a fun time, man. I really enjoyed this movie. Overall, thought that it was a really dope. You don't get these types of movies anymore. You know, everything has to be CG, and there really isn't that much. Like it's very much hidden. A lot of things are very practical, and just try to be left up to your imagination type of thing. It almost kind of felt like I was watching Stranger Things, just because I felt like even though this was set in Denver, it felt like Hawkins, especially just with the whole 1970s nine type of vibe to it. Yeah, man, I definitely recommend you checking this out. Whether you want to wait for it to come out on digital or whatever, or definitely go check this out in the theater. Take some friends with you. I think it's a fun time at the movies. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's gonna be for everybody. It might, not live up to everybody's expectations, but it definitely lived up to mine. Till next time, I will see y'all in the next movie review. I'm out. Peace.